In this video, I'm going to be walking you through how to connect to your MongoDB using Mongoose. And to actually test if our connection was successful, we're going to be using Mocha, which is basically a JavaScript framework for testing. And do not worry if you don't know how to use Mocha, because I'm also going to be walking you through on how to use that in this series. So stay tuned. So I created an empty folder here called MongoDB. So I'm going to just start by running the command npm init. So npm init by itself just basically creates a package.js file, and I'm going to add -y to it. The -y basically just pre-fills some questions I'm supposed to fill if I was just going to run npm init. It's just going to ask me some question, and I'm going to be entering all through, but I'm just going to just abort that, and then I'm just going to add my -y. With my -y, it just prefills it for me, and then it creates my package.json file for me. So why am I exactly creating a package.json file? So I want to install a few packages, and I'm just going to quickly do that and then explain why we need those packages in the first place. So there are more npm install -save, Mocha, Mongoose, and nodemon, right? So basically we are going to be working with Mocha currently because we don't have a GUI yet, which is just a graphical user interface where we can actually see what we are doing with our MongoDB, our insertion, if you can confirm if our insertion was successful and all of that. So we're going to be using Mocha, which is just a testing framework, Node.js testing framework, and we'll be using that to connect to our MongoDB database and to confirm that probably a record is there, a record is not there, just basically you get the point. Then Mongoose basically is just an object data modeling tool. It just manages the relationship between data in our databases. So this just don't overthink it. So just basically Mongoose helps us to work better with our MongoDB. So it just makes it much more easier. It provides us a lot of methods to work with our MongoDB. Then nodemon on the other end is just a command line tool that helps the speedy development of Node.js application. So it just monitors our projects directory, and it automatically restarts the Node application when changes is detected. Then this just saves us the stress of stopping and restarting our application after every change. So we don't want to always do that. So once we've created our package.json file, installed these 3 packages, and then I also prior created a git repository with this my folder. So I'm just going to create just one file, which is .gitignore. So I'm just going to put my node underscore modules there. So it's going to exclude my node modules from what I can push to this my git repository. So I'm going to be pushing the code we write in this series to a GitHub repo so that you can have access to it. That's the whole idea of why I made this a Git repo, right? So without so much talk, let's just dive into the main deal for this series. So for us to achieve our goal, we're just going to create a very simple application structure. I'm just going to create a new folder. I'm just going to go through here. I'm going to create an src folder, and also I'm going to create a test folder. So basically I'm going to be putting in all my models in the src folder, so don't worry about that now. In the subsequent videos you will understand what I mean by models. And then the test is basically I'm going to be putting my test files. So the whole idea of this is to just be able to perform CRUD operations with our MongoDB and more. So all the files I will be using to test if an operation was successful, or if a particular thing we are trying to do is going fine. We're just going to be putting all those kind of files in our test folder, and that's just basically, this is just the basic folder structure that we're going to have as of now. So I'm just going to start with my tests. So I'm going to create a file called test underscore helper.js. So basically in this file, we're just going to be writing some few lines of code, and basically what we're going to just be doing is connect to our MongoDB using Mongoose, and then if our connection was successful, we will get notified that yes, it was successful. But if there was any error along the line, it also let us know that there's an error. So this is just basically for us to know that a connection was successful or is failed, right? So let's just dive into the code. So the first thing is we are going to require Mongoose basically. So once we've done the requiring our Mongoose, we're going to do mongoose dot connect. So we're going to be connecting to our local host, and the connection URI is MongoDB colon, just going to do this, and then slash users underscore test. So once that is done, we're going to move on to the next. Right, so this other line I'm going to write now is just basically going to test if our connection was successful or not. So connection dot once. So I'm going to just type out the code, and then I'm going to explain later. So this is going to be open comma, I'm going to use a fat arrow function here, which is just going to be this, then equal to, oh, that was wrong, right? And then I'm going to use my curly braces. So inside this I'm just going to write console. This is just going to run if our connection was successful. So I'm going to say is working, right? So I'm going to also do dot on, and really similar syntax to the dot ones. So this is going to be error, right, comma, I'm going to use another fat arrow function, this. I'm going to also console dot run. I'm just going to keep it a simple message, something happened. So this works. So let me just go on and explain what is going on here. So basically now the require is how we like do code sharing different files in the Node.js environment. So remember we installed our Mongoose as a package in our project, but every single file here is just executed in isolation. So we have to like require our Mongoose library in any file we need it, and assign it to Mongoose, which is just this variable here. And no, we are using constant because we don't have any intent of modifying this package basically. So we are using const here, so it makes more sense to use const, because once we do that, whenever we try to modify this particular variable, is going to give us an error, right? So onto this other line, mongoose.connect is just used to initiate a connection to the actual Mongo database running on our local machine. So the argument it takes is just the particular database that we are connecting to. So localhost basically tells it where our database is, and users test tells it the name of the particular database that we are connecting to. So if you are connecting to a remote MongoDB database, then we can replace that with what we have here, right? So most times you can replace that. It's always like where we have like the IP address of the machine where the database is sitting on, and then we are going to include the port at some point. So basically this is just depends on where your database is sitting. And for this project we are working with database in our local computer. So, and then Mongoose.connect, which is this line 4 here, is just used to get a message back to us only when our connection has succeeded or failed. So we are using once and on event handler here. So the once here means that we are watching Mongoose to emit an event which is open. So the dot once here is just waiting for Mongoose to emit this open event, and once that is done, it runs this line of code. It just consoles to us that everything is okay. And the on here is just basically waiting for Mongoose to emit this error event, and once it does that, it's just going to emit this run this function. So my console here is not right. So basically that's just what this our code does here. And note that this open and error here, they are specific events. So if you change it, you might not get your desired result. So for you to like see things you can listen to, you can actually check the MongoDB documentation. You can see that these are actually specific events that you have to listen to at this point, right? So for us to test if everything works fine, so I'm just going to do run my file, which is I'm going to just in my terminal do node tests, which is this our directory here. So inside test, I'm going to get to test underscore helper.js, and you're going to see that everything is working fine. You see that? So I'm just going to try and change something here. So let me just say this, right? And then try running our we're going to most likely get, not most likely actually, we're going to get this error. It's just going to it takes longer whenever I start wasting time. You know that something is up with this thing. So it's just going to give us this error, something happened. So yeah, you can see that there is an error here, and let's look for our error message somewhere. You can see something happened, right? So this is just basically it, and we have successfully connected with our MongoDB database using Mongoose and confirmed that everything is working. So basically that's just all that you have to do to connect your MongoDB database using Mongoose. So in our next video, I'm going to be walking you through how to create a model and define a schema in MongoDB using Mongoose. So stay tuned and see you in the next video.